Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got something brand new to me. This is Horizon Hobbies and this is a 1/72 Atlas rocket. Now, if you're a little bit like me, I'd never even heard of Horizon Models until a few weeks ago. We got a little bit of information about it. We were talking to one of our distributors. And Gary over at Tiger Hobbies said to me, look, you might want to have a look at these. They are very, very nice. And as I am a bit of a space anorak in anything to do with space, futuristic or historical as well, it's really nice to see these kits. So down in here we have Horizon Models. So this is the conveyor, there's a name from the past, SM65D Atlas. So technically this was like the first sort of ICBM. It was the US's nuclear deterrent, but obviously this I would say is part of the first stage of the space race, because then obviously we moved then through the Mercury and Gemini and then obviously into Apollo shortly after this one. But you can see very nice box art right the way through. Quick look on the box, we can see a beautiful built model down in there. So to give you an idea of it, it's going to be length is going to be almost 82 centimeters. To 35 centimeters. So it's diameter of 42, it's got a width of 67, and it's got 36 parts, okay? And then obviously it's saying about the paint, pretty much what we'd expect right the way through. And then on the back, some gorgeous artwork like this. Okay, so very, very nice indeed. So you've got the different versions down here as well. We've got the Mark II, the Mark III and the Mark IV with the subtle changes between each one right the way down in here, and obviously known as the new nickel and the test flight one. Okay, so let's have a good look in the box, see what we actually do get in here. Okay, that looks like a very nice stand right off the bat. So if that will stand up, going to stand, might need a little bit of help. There we go. Okay, separate bags. So we've got 3 separate bags down here just like this with the parts in, which is a nice touch. So we'll have a look at those in a second. As always, we'll have a flick through here. So we've got a nice little zip bag with our instructions and our decals, we're assuming. So let's get this out. Okay, so we have decals, which you'll look at the moment. We've got a little booklet. Okay, so in the booklet we can see just down in here it's talking about obviously opening up some holes, so good idea to get them done before you close it up because you'll never find them. And then it's pretty straightforward. So assembly wise, we've got 2 halves coming together. We'll see what those look like. Then we've got this collar down the bottom here, and then obviously we've got the sort of nozzle area running our way down the back. Got a few other parts to be put on here as well, but it's things to look out for, like it's saying about applying the decal before putting this part on, so that way it can lay in behind it instead of it going in front, and a couple of little parts to remove as well. Okay, so some things to take note in there, and again more to make sure you got your decals in place before you put this piping work down the outside. And obviously it's got different options between 1, 2 and 3, obviously the different versions of it down in there. And then on the top we've got the payloads. So again, depending on which one you're going to be putting on there. Then we've actually got the nozzles from the actual rockets themselves, and then fitting onto the stand. Okay, so looks straightforward. Okay, again, really nice, good details showing you exactly where the decal placement is going to be and calling out for which version has each one. Okay, so it might get a little bit technical down in there, so just keep in your mind's eye exactly what you're doing and what you're up to. Okay, all of those being put on there, and then obviously the 3 versions as you can see just down in there. Okay, decals themselves look pretty good right off the bat, as you can see. Okay, there's a lot going on down here, and to be honest with you, I think I'd rather have it in one big decal than I'd have it in all separates anyway, just to keep it all square and lined up, but that's no problem. The Air Force ones look pretty nice. Okay, numbering wise, obviously you can do whichever version you'd want out of that. And again, we've got the various ones for the stand down here in Atlas if you want to do it on different coloured bases, I assume, with that one. Okay, and then obviously we've got SAC one down in there like that, so that's all pretty good. Right, straight into the plastic of it. It looks like we've got some nice sticky bags. Okay. So, in one, first thing it jumps out at you, it's nice, it's good. There's very little burring on the sprues. So those are actually all very nice. The plastic, whilst not totally polished, there's a little bit of texture to it, is absolutely fine. Okay, and the actual recessing on this looks pretty good. Okay, so looking around on the close-up, you can see we've got some of the different tops on there. They are in two halves. We've got two, as you'll see, they'll want to be a mirror of this, to be honest. Okay, so you're going to get two A's because they're just going to go back to front, if that makes sense. Okay, so we got that one done in there. Some of the detail is nicely recessed, and others is very sharply done raised with that bolt detail. Okay, and then running around at the box. We have got a little bit of flash, just a little bit running down on here. Okay, but a couple of swipes with a sanding stick will take care of that. Apart from that, no problem. And again, this pipe work you can see down in here, that's actually all very nice, and again, very little burring. You can't feel any. The easiest way to do it is just to roll your finger around the actual sprue to see if you've got any sort of real burring on there, and there isn't. So that's very nice indeed. On the inside, you can see good quality mould. You can obviously tell that from the tooling marks down in there like that. It's all very nice indeed. And on these, the ejector pins, whilst they're all there, they're all going to be out of the way. You're not going to see any, and they're also recessed, so no problem with that. So you've got two of those because obviously it literally just going to go back to each other right the way through. And then over on the next one, we have got some more of the parts on the actual display stand for it. Okay, so there we go. So this is your sprue B, as you see it just down in here. And again, looking around at it, looks pretty good. Again, there's a little bit of burring, but really very little on brown parts like that. So that's all very nice. That's pretty good. Again, we've got some of the nozzles there. This is just base for it, so it's just going to plonk down straight on top of that. So that's quite nice. There's that collared effect with the corrugated for the strengthening. Really very nicely done. Technically, the thrust puck, I think they call it, is that the technical term? But this is the bit where obviously all the rockets are going to fit to. Okay, so that's pretty good. Again, side areas, depending which one you're doing, you're going to have those on there, and different payloads as well down in here at the top, running right the way round. Again, good, solid design. Can't really see any problem with that one. Simple, but actually it's going to be quite a lump. You know, we are talking, it's going to be like a foot tall, so that's going to be very nicely done. And I think with a nice sort of metal paintwork on it and stuff like that, it'll be one of those kits I would do in a heartbeat. I'd love to have a go at something like this. And again, you could then, if you wanted to, scratch build your gantries and all your stuff to go along with it. Literally the sky, or in this case the space, is the limit for this particular kit. Have to say, this is the first time I think I've ever reviewed a wholly Australian model kit company, and I think they've nailed it. First time I said I've seen this one. The kit number for this one, which I didn't mention at the time, is 2001. So I don't know if this is like the first kit they've actually released. I have got other ones to review as well. So we got a Mercury capsule over there, so that'll be coming up in a few days' time, so we can follow along with a series of these kits. But right off the bat, I'm looking at it, and first impressions, they seem to be absolute gems. A couple of years old. This is saying on the actual sprue that it's 2015. I didn't have a foggiest about it. I didn't even know this kit existed until a couple of weeks ago. But I'm really glad I found them. I can see myself building some of these as well. So stay tuned. But I have to say, if you're into your space and rockets and things like that, it's an absolute must.